Welcome back to another figure review. In this review, we're going to take a look at Joytoy's Battle for the Stars, Skeleton Forces, Grim Reaper, Peron Patrol. These figures come in new window boxes. These are absolutely beautiful boxes. Let's take a look at the box. Here's the front of the box displaying all three figures. Down here on the bottom left, we have the Battle for the Stars logo, Skeleton Forces, Grim Reaper. Some amazing artwork. These boxes are very glossy. Actually, the third figure, you just basically see her head popping over the artwork. That is some really nice artwork there. On the top, we have this really nice, I guess we'll call it space background, blue, black, and some white. Battle for the Stars logo. Warnings for choking hazards, and these are for ages 15 and up. Bottom of the box says Peron Patrol and has product parameters and company information. A UPC on the far right. On the side of the box has this Peron Patrol logo. They're getting pretty good with these group logos. That box is very nice. Other side of the box, this says Joytoy on it. Very reflective. And the back of the box shows all the gear and equipment you get with this set. You get one of those amazing weapons lockers, 3 identical helmets, sniper rifle, 3 assault rifles, and one of those exosuits. Down at the bottom, you have Battle for the Stars logo. Now this box has no tape, no ties, nothing like that. All you have to do is just open it up. Look how cool that shows through there. If you dispose of your boxes, it might be worth cutting that out and keeping it for display purposes. These boxes are very, you can pretty much mold these to wherever you want them to be. So you can actually take your figures out of the box, put them back in the box, if you so desire. Just slide out the trays. And that artwork is great. This is three figures in the clamshell. You just simply lay it down and they're interlocked. So there's a side for now. It has a product insert. It says Starhawk 12th Peron Patrol, Battle for the Stars. So there's your 3 figures, and it shows your component parts and what they look like without their vest, and their thigh pads, and all the equipment they come with. On the back, you get some precautions and that new design or diagram of how to disassemble your figure and how you should heat your figures before you take them apart, all your joints, and before you play with them. Okay, let's bring those figures back in. They're just held together with some friction with 2 pieces of clamshell. Here's our first figure. See if I can get her in focus. There we go. She has short black hair, scarf, shorter pads, a new vest, some pouches, a belt, the carabiner on it, white pants, thigh pads, and this is some brown trim throughout the pants, split at the bottom here, maybe represent like a zipper. Black and white shoes. So these look like a new gun holster. In the back she has her radio with a long antenna. It's just a little bit of a wire there. Brown patch, red, and maybe an incendiary grenade. White gloves, brown trim, watch. Very nice. So for articulation, her head will go 360. But her scarf does hinder it, but it will do it if you do. You probably have to remove the scarf. Shoulders on ball joints. Because of shoulder pads, you have to lower them down if you want them to get them to go up higher, because they do get in the way sometimes, but that's okay. They go, I don't know if it's said or not, but they go 360. Bendable elbows at 90, maybe a little better. 90 degrees, that's 90 degrees, and that one is maybe, yeah, that's a little better. She has, let's take a look at that product information page and see if I can look at her chest. Let's see here. Yeah, she has chest articulation because you have to remove the vest. So she can do a crunch. She does an ab crunch also, and she has a waist swivel. She has that articulation on both legs here and here. If you want to spin the legs. Let's get this carabiner out of the way. Now this is what is exciting about this set. They've just about, yep, they got it. On these female figures, they can sit perfectly. You do have to move the carabiner out of the way from the belt, but they look fantastic. These Joytoy figures keep getting better and better. Look at that. Amazing. And she has double jointed knees. Wow. Look at that. That's some insane articulation. These are obviously going to be the best female figures to date. These are 10 times better than a Selena figure, in my opinion, obviously, in my opinion. But the results, you can't deny the results. Her feet do pivot down, like so. And I think I did, yep, there is toe articulation up on these. Also want to mention too, like, I did not hate these figures. I checked them out, did a QC check on them, and the joints were just perfect right out of the box. So not only they're fixing that sitting issue, they're also fixing the issue to the joints. That factory seal you have to break by heating them, getting better. But I always still check them, because these are pricey figures because they're a small batch run. Always want to protect your investment. So all the figures have the same articulation. While we take one last look at this figure, We are not, as such, we're not going to go through the articulation for each figure because it's the same. We may check the sitting for each figure just because that's something that's pretty exciting for waiting for that to actually happen. Man, the sculpt, the detail, the materials feel great. I mean, better than Hasbro's material on some of their figures. Just took a look at the new Retro Scarlet. Obviously, don't have her in hand because she's not out yet, but just a comparison and images. I mean, man, there's no contest. And I'm a huge G.I. Joe collector, so for me to say that is wild. These are incredible. Like, really incredible figures. Alright, let's take a look at the second figure. The second figure looks like she has a brown hair with different head sculpt. She has a small backpack. But basically roughly the same loadout except for the tactical vest. The legs are the same. Oh, she has different color knee pads. We'll take a look at that one second. After we take a better look at the figure's details up close. These are actually worth taking the time. Oh, I didn't actually do the hand articulation either, so I'll do it on this figure. So you can see how right out of packaging, these joints are ready to rock. This hand goes up and down. And this arm. So her hand goes in and out. And that's the same on all three figures. The articulation is identical. Okay, let's give her a 360 view for you guys. If I go too fast, just you can pause your video. Try to get a nice up close view so you guys can see how amazing the details the sculpt is on these. And we're only like halfway through a review, and I highly recommend these already. There's no doubt. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So we're back in the first figure. So you can see the differences in her vest. Different scarf, different head sculpt. Her carabiners are on opposite sides, and this one has a pouch on the right. But everything else outside the knee pads are the same. Unless I'm missing something. On the back of the figures, obviously the vest is different. She has a backpack, she has a radio, and some weapons on her belt. She has that red, I'm going to call it incendiary grenade, because we just don't know what they were going for. Awesome. Alright, let's look at the third one, and this one's possibly my favorite head sculpt. She has the white with the, looks like maybe a light brown wash to bring out the detailing in her hair. I love this head sculpt. It's my favorite, like I said. Just love how they brought all that detail out in her hair. So let's see if we can do some. It looks like she has the same scarf as figure number 2. And the vest is very similar to figure number 2. Her carabiner is in the middle and her brown patch sack is on the side. Figure number 1 has that brown pack here on the side here, right there. But this one has the radio, and I think this one also has a backpack. Yeah, it's the same backpack as figure 2. Unless that belt's just sitting differently. That could be it too. Yeah, that's probably it. Oh well. So if that's the case, let's just move that out of the way and take a look at her sitting. Because this is a great moment. It's set to where they have actually fixed the sitting problem for the female figures. Not bad. Let's get our hands out of the way. Let's check out figure 2. Let's see how this belt's on here. Yeah, her belt's spun, that's what it was. There's actually the clasps on the front there. There, that works. They do sit. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so we have, see what we can do about getting all 3 figures together. Sorry if my hands are in the way, but that's what they look like all together. Now these figures have no identity. You can create your own background, your own storyline. They release them as a Peron Patrol, and I think they're getting a little crazy with that Skeleton Forces Hell Grim Reaper. It's on that other set also, which don't see how these fit in with Selena's team. We'll take a look at Selena here in a second, because I want to do a comparison of her, because I had my issues with that figure. I do like that figure, and I do recommend the figure, but it's not anywhere on the level of these girls. Do like Selena's head sculpt. Here's Selena. But that exosuit, it looks good in photos. Product on the female figures. Let's just make sure we clarify that on the female figures. I'm not a fan of it. It's loose and sloppy, and I still wish they would have added a few more accessories with Selena, especially an extra set of thigh pads. That way you could remove the exosuit like you can these girls, and have someone to put her pistol. And there's just, I bet you her articulation is probably better, maybe. I'm not sure. But with that exosuit on, it does hinder your playability. If you want to have her, I did a review for her. You can check that out. Only one thing about these girls too is Selena, she looks good because her hair hides her chicken neck. This figure has a chicken neck. If you take her head off, her head sculpt off, put her on the blank head, put her helmet on, her neck looks really long. These girls may have that same problem because they probably use the same parts over, but with the scarves on them, you can't tell. All right. Now, let's look at the other part of this set, which is the accessories. Same friction holding case. Let's start, I guess, with the helmets. All 3 helmets are the same. They have number 12 on the top, a white trim around the sides. They're in like a flat gray and some black here, and a black visor. and they actually, well, they are meant to go over the top of the figures' heads. We'll get to that in a second. Let's take the other three out. See, they're all the same heads. Identical. If you continue watching this video, at the end I'm going to show you something that I think is pretty cool, what I may do with my figures. So let's take one of the helmets. So now they come with, we'll get to that in a second, but they come with some blank heads, so you can remove these heads and put their helmets on. But let's go about two of these figures. So you can put that helmet right over top of their current head, and it looks perfect. That was figure 1 that we first reviewed. Okay, let's bring back in figure 2. Helmet. She does have a little bit longer hair, so I was surprised that this fit, but it went down over her pretty good. And it's not as good as the first figure because of that extra hair on her back, but for what it's worth, if you want to, you have the option of putting that on. Does show a bit more of her hair in the back, but doesn't look bad at all. So figure 3, her hair is just way too big to put this helmet on. You can't put her helmet on. That's a bummer. So what else we have, which is an exosuit. This is the top half of the female figures. Here's the bottom half of the female figures. Exosuit. What you notice about this, there's some peg holes here on these, but there's no pistol holders or knives or nothing to hold your pistol whenever you have your exosuit on, if you choose to have it on, which I'm going to pass for me, because you only get one, and it's a nice idea. Looks good for display, but not for playability. So for weapons, your first gun looks like this. Nice paint, molded in black, has yellow and white on it. Very nice gun. Here we have the second weapon. Have more white trim and less yellow on this weapon. Scope. Third weapon is kind of unique. We have some white, molded in black, some white trim, and some red around the drum. Now to me, this looks like a shotgun because of the drum. Or it could be some kind of modern version or advanced version of a Tommy gun, maybe. But if this is a shotgun, why do you have a silencer on it? That's not going to work. But hey, it looks cool. And last but not least, this amazing looking sniper rifle. Some yellow on the back of the stock, some white above the grip, and little red dots on it. Got a scope on top. It has a bipod that is retractable. Pretty nice. It's kind of a little tight, so I'd be careful with pushing too far out. So you want to push on the inside of here when you do put it up and down. So I was bummed out that they don't come with those really nice plastic display cases, but you do get these amazing weapons locker. Stun blue with black wash, one handle. On top it says do not touch. What's nice about these, they have those nice hinges. It looks like, from what I can tell, there's some kind of lube actually on the hinge. Maybe some kind of oil. But with these, the way these are made, you can open and close these things without worrying about making your plastic turn white or wear out and break off. And you can see inside tons of accessories. So let's see what we got here. We got some, you get 3 of these heads. Three of those. 3 blank heads to replace so you put your helmets on. And it looks like you get 2 yellow carabiners. So you can hang on the chest of the figures. And you get some gripping hands. For the figures. It's like there is 4 hands. And you get 6 of the, it's like they got little, these may be elbow pads. Yeah. You get 6 elbow pads. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. If you want to put those on your figures, you can. A lot of gear is great, makes the figures look wonderful, but sometimes you put too much on, it will hinder your playability. It looks like you get 3 pistols. These pistols are actually very small. Let's take a second and look and see how these fit. It looks like they have this one on to where she likes her pistol like this. Yeah, they fit nice and snug right in there, perfect fit. And you get 2 of the white knee joints. And we get, looks like we get 2 shoulder joints and done in blue. And 2 elbow joints done in blue also. Now let's see something here. Oh, yep, head pops right off. So pop their head off. Now this figure I just popped the head off of. Trying to get this other head back on. Is the white hair girl. That's what they look like with their blank heads on. This all notch on top. Now the helmet will fit. That's what they look like with their helmets on. Now, I mentioned earlier what I'm considering doing with my team of Peron Patrol is, any of you G.I. Joe collectors out there, do these actually make you think of any characters in G.I. Joe? Give you a hint, the color-wise. Whoop, look at this, the iPad fell all the way down. Wow, these are so nice. Well, what I was thinking was, and bear with me here, these could be a sub-team of, here they come, Still Brigade. Your female Still Brigade. Because it has the blue shirt. Yes, it's a different shade, and the pants are white, but it has the brown wash. But it gives you some diversity in your actual Still Brigade line. I think they look good together. But what I think is awesome is that let's take him out for a second. Check this out. That helmet looks fantastic on these figures. These pads really work with that helmet. So I think that's awesome. But they're your toys. You can figure out what you want to do with your figures. But I think I just sold myself on this. If I can get him to stand. Table's kind of slippery. Okay, so I just out of curiosity, here is, it fits them nice. Here is one of the Peron Patrol helmets on a G.I. Joe Still Brigade. That looks pretty awesome itself, huh? So we could call this 12th Still Brigade unit. I did see a couple of variations in the G.I. Joe line for the Still Brigade helmets. There's the pilot from the exclusive from the convention has a different helmet, but you can tell it's Still Brigade. It's a different look, but you can definitely tell it belongs to them. And the driver from one of the 4x4 vehicles had a different helmet, but you can tell it was a reminiscence of the Still Brigade unit. So these helmets could be the same thing. I think I actually might have one of those figures here. Give you an idea of what I was talking about. If you just give me 1 second. So here is that driver. See how it's, you can definitely tell it's a Still Brigade trooper, but it's kind of different than the traditional style of the head sculpt, the helmet sculpt. And here's this one. So having some diversity in your helmets isn't that bad. It does affect your unit fit look, but that's pretty nice. That's my opinion, of course, but that looks pretty nice. Take him out of shot. kind of unit fit. Oh, they kind of fit pretty nice in there. What do you got? There we go. Nice fit, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Okay, let's get his helmet off. And her helmet back on. Let's see what they look like with their guns. What is going to fall over the helmet? The helmet on the blank heads are kind of loose. But here's one of the figures with that sniper rifle. She can shoulder that gun very nicely.